Hi, this is Chris Harrell with Everyday VBA, and today we're digging into the sum function. This will be the first video of the course. We're going to do a course overview. We're going to look at creating a named range, setting up some conditional formatting, and adding a module. So let's go over this course. Now, building a macro that adds the sum function, in theory, should be a very simple and straightforward process, and it's actually not super difficult, but you'll be amazed once we dig into it, all the different things that we have to take into consideration and we have to code around, which makes for a really great opportunity to learn quite a bit of code. Now I've highlighted the sum function that's in B10. Now you'll notice that the first thing that we need to do is we need to break out those ranges. And we're going to use a split function to do that, and we're going to do some string logic, which will be great. So that's the first piece that we're going to do. We're actually going to take those, and we're going to take those and put those in C13 through E13. We're going to be placing those ranges. Once we have those ranges, then we can easily loop through each one of those ranges, and we can go in, and by looping through those ranges, we can add up the numbers. Now that again seems pretty simple, but you have to take into consideration, well, what if it's text? What if it's an error? There's different pieces and parts that we need to pay attention, and we'll dig into that. So that's kind of a brief overview of what the plan is. First thing we're going to do is we're going to name a range. Now you may or may not have ever named a range, but it does make it simpler in code by naming this. So we're going to actually name this formula. And that may not make any sense, but if I hit equals and I type in formula, it will actually go to that range. Now that will be simpler when we're going into code. Now if you've never seen that before, that is actually in your formula tab under define names. Now if you click on your name manager, it'll tell you that this is the named range. Now right here it's sum function B10. Now you'll also notice that my table's in here. Every table is going to have a named range as well. So I just wanted to show you that real quick because we are going to do some code around that. The other thing that I want to do just to kind of make this look pretty is I want to be able to have conditional formatting set up for this. And so we're going to do a new rule. Actually, hold on. We're going to go where this, I gotta click on that. We're going to go where this is not equal to this. And when it turns that color, we're going to change the fill color to, let's make it, we'll make it this red or this pink. So when I click OK, it's actually going to turn that pink because they're not equal. Now if we make them equal, then it's going to go away. And the reason I do that, the reason I put that in there is because if these two are equal, then it will we just know that those are correct, and that's just kind of like a little coding check. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to open up our Visual Basic editor. Now you can go to your developer tab, click on Visual Basic. You can also go to your data, let's see, it's your view tab, macros, and you can get in through there as well if you do view, and you can create a new one. For this case, all we're going to do is I'm going to hit Alt F11, which I already have it open, so I don't need to do anything. Now you may or may not have this personal workbook open. Most of the time people will not have that open unless they've set up their personal workbook and have some code loaded. So we just have the function that's open currently, and we're going to create a module. So we're going to create a module, and we're going to start a sub. We're going to call it sub. We're going to call this function, or this macro, sum function. And I'm going to hit enter. You'll notice that it puts in the end sub, and it also puts in those parameters. That's going to be all we're going to do for this video. We're going to be digging into splitting out the ranges in the next video. It's going to be a good time.